The fluorescent lights of CERN's control room buzzed incessantly as Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her terminal, her eyes burning from 72 hours without sleep. Coffee cups littered her workstation, testament to her desperate pursuit of an impossible theory. The particle accelerator hummed beneath the facility, its energy readings climbing steadily higher than any previous experiment. Dr. Chen, we're approaching critical threshold, Marcus Wong called out from his station, his voice tight with concern. The quantum entanglement readings they're not making sense. Sarah's fingers flew across the keyboard, making minute adjustments to the particle stream. That's exactly what we're looking for, Marcus. When quantum mechanics stops making sense, that's where the real science begins. The massive screens dominating the wall displayed a cascade of data that would have appeared as gibberish to most physicists. But to Sarah, they told a story that had haunted her dreams for years. Particles existing not just in superposition, but across multiple time streams simultaneously. Warning klaxons began to blare as energy levels surpassed safety parameters. Junior researchers fled the control room, but Marcus stayed, his loyalty to his mentor outweighing his instinct for self-preservation. "We should abort," he suggested, sweat beading on his forehead. "The containment field is. Look." Sarah pointed to a sudden spike in the data. The particles. They're not just entangled. They're correlating across temporal planes. "Marcus, we're seeing quantum temporal superposition." The facility's lights flickered as power systems strained under the unprecedented energy draw. Deep beneath them, the particle accelerator screamed in protest as it pushed physics beyond known limits. "It's beautiful," Sarah whispered, watching as reality itself seemed to blur on their monitoring equipment. Particles existed in multiple states, multiple times, multiple places, all at once. Everything she had theorized, laid out in papers that had earned her ridicule from the scientific community, was proving true before her eyes. Then everything went wrong. The containment field collapsed in a cascade of quantum fluctuations. Billions in equipment overloaded simultaneously. Emergency shutdowns triggered too late as reality itself seemed to hiccup around the facility. When the chaos subsided, Sarah stood in the smoking ruins of her life's work, clutching a single tablet that had recorded everything. The data was clear. She had proven her theory correct, but at a devastating cost. The scientific community's response was swift and merciless. They labeled her a fraud, a reckless experimenter who had destroyed irreplaceable equipment chasing an impossible dream. Only Marcus stood by her, helping her analyze the precious seconds of data they had captured. "They're wrong," he insisted late one night, as they pored over the readings in her small apartment. "These patterns, they're not random equipment failures. We achieved something unprecedented." Sarah was about to respond when her tablet lit up with urgent notifications. Every news channel worldwide suddenly carried the same breaking story. An alien ship had appeared in orbit, its crystalline structure unlike anything in human records. The ship's crew, the Axiorians, made their purpose clear in their first transmission. They were members of the Galactic Council, and they had detected something that terrified them: quantum temporal manipulation on a scale that shouldn't have been possible for a primitive species. "Your experiments must cease immediately," their crystalline ambassador demanded in perfect English. "This line of research threatens the very fabric of space-time." Sarah and Marcus shared a look of revelation. The aliens weren't here to stop them because they were wrong. They were here because humanity had stumbled upon something so fundamental, so powerful, that it challenged the established order of the galaxy. "They're afraid," Marcus whispered, a slow smile spreading across his face. "They're actually afraid of what we might achieve." Sarah clutched her tablet of data closer, her mind already racing with possibilities. The Axiorians' arrival had done more than confirm her theories. It had proven that humanity was on the verge of something revolutionary. If quantum temporal manipulation frightened the galaxy's most advanced civilizations, then perhaps they had discovered something far more significant than they had initially realized. "Marcus," she said, her exhaustion forgotten in a surge of renewed purpose, "I need you to help me encrypt this data and send it to every major physics lab on Earth." The Axiorians didn't come all this way just to issue a warning. They came to stop us, And that means we're onto something bigger than we imagined," he finished, already reaching for his laptop. In the sky above, the crystalline ship loomed like an ominous star, its presence a testament to humanity's first stumbling steps into a realm of physics that would change the galaxy forever. The Galactic Council's ultimatum came at dawn, broadcasting simultaneously on every communication device on Earth. The crystalline Axiorian ambassador's voice resonated with barely contained fury as it echoed across the planet. "You have 24 Earth hours to cease all quantum time-stream research and surrender your findings, or your planet will face immediate quarantine. This is not a negotiation." In a secure bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, Dr. Sarah Chen watched the transmission loop again, her hands steady as she finished encrypting the last data packet. Around her, a hastily assembled team of Earth's brightest minds worked in controlled chaos, each focused on their piece of humanity's response. "Transmission arrays ready," Marcus called out, his fingers dancing across 3 keyboards simultaneously. "We can hit every major research facility the moment you give the word." Sarah nodded, studying the complex encryption algorithm they developed. The Axiorians might be able to detect quantum research, but they'd severely underestimated humanity's ability to communicate under pressure. "Do it." Across the globe, in hidden laboratories and secret facilities, quantum physicists received an encrypted message that would change history. Sarah's data, combined with her theoretical framework, sparked a revolution in human understanding. Within hours, scientists who had once mocked her were reaching out through secure channels, their own research suddenly illuminated by her discoveries. The Axiorians, watching from orbit, detected none of this. Their sophisticated sensors scanned for quantum experiments, while completely missing the ancient technology of hardwired cables and primitive radio transmissions that carry humanity's greatest scientific collaboration. 3 hours before the ultimatum expired, the crystalline aliens made their final offer. Their ambassador materialized simultaneously in every major government chamber worldwide. "We offer you advancement," the alien declared, its crystalline form refracting light in hypnotic patterns. "Cease this dangerous research, and we will provide your species with technology centuries beyond your current capabilities. Clean energy, medical breakthroughs, limited faster than light travel under our supervision." The world's leaders received the offer in silence. In secure bunkers and hidden rooms, they each held tablets containing the truth. Humanity was on the verge of something far greater than the Axiorians' controlled technological handouts. 1 hour before the deadline, humanity gave its answer. 12 nations, traditional enemies among them, simultaneously announced Project Paradox. Each revealed massive facilities that had been operating in secret, each containing components of what would become the quantum ship. The Axiorians' response was broadcast across all frequencies, their crystalline language translated into a tone of disbelief. "Impossible. You cannot have hidden such research from our sensors." Sarah Chen smiled as she watched the aliens' confusion. Humanity had done more than hide their research. They had completely reimagined how quantum technology could work. While the Axiorians looked for massive energy signatures and conventional quantum experiments, human scientists had discovered that consciousness itself could manipulate quantum fields with barely any energy signature at all. "The whole galaxy thinks in terms of big machines and massive power outputs," Marcus observed, watching the alien ships above reposition themselves in obvious agitation. They never considered that quantum mechanics might work differently at a biological level. Project Paradox was revealed to be humanity's greatest cooperative achievement. Japanese quantum computers linked to Russian consciousness research. Chinese temporal theory combined with Brazilian biometric interfaces. American engineering merged with Indian theoretical physics. Every nation had built its components in isolation, each piece designed to hide its true purpose until they could all be united. The Axiorians' reaction was immediate and predictable. Their fleet grew from 1 ship to dozens within hours, taking up threatening positions around Earth. But humanity had anticipated this too. Hidden launchers around the planet activated, sending thousands of microsatellites into orbit. None were weapons. They were part of the quantum communication network that would link the project's scattered facilities. They still think we're building conventional weapons, Sarah noted, watching the alien ships waste resources shooting down decoy satellites. They can't imagine that we've already moved beyond physical construction into quantum architecture. The real work was happening in human minds linked to quantum fields, designing systems that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Every attempt by the Axiorians to shut down one facility simply caused the research to shift to another quantum state, another possibility, another path forward. 24 hours after their ultimatum, the Axiorians were forced to watch as humanity announced the full scope of Project Paradox to the galaxy. They had failed to stop Earth not because of superior technology or military might, but because they couldn't comprehend how a primitive species could approach quantum mechanics in such a fundamentally different way. Consciousness is the key, Sarah explained to her team as they prepared for the project's next phase. We don't just observe quantum states, we're part of them. The Axiorians built their entire civilization on controlling quantum mechanics. We're learning to dance with it. Above them, more alien ships arrived daily, their crews watching in growing alarm as humanity prepared to attempt what they had declared impossible. Project Paradox was more than a scientific endeavor. It was proof that humanity's greatest strength lay not in their technology, but in their ability to reimagine the very rules of reality itself. Construction of the quantum ship took place simultaneously across 12 orbital platforms, each operating on different quantum frequencies to hide their true progress from alien observers. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the central control room of Platform Alpha, watching as humans achieved what the galaxy's most advanced civilizations had deemed impossible. Neural interface testing is ready for the next phase, Marcus reported, his voice tight with concern. The previous tests had left 3 pilots in comas, their minds unable to handle the strain of existing across multiple quantum states. Are you sure about this, Sarah? She nodded, already donning the interface helmet. The device looked deceptively simple. A quantum processor merged with human neural patterns in ways that violated several laws of physics. The others failed because they tried to control the quantum states. I think we need to become part of them. The test chamber hummed with energy as Sarah's consciousness expanded across quantum possibilities. Past attempts had tried to force human minds to comprehend multiple realities. She instead let her consciousness flow into them naturally, accepting rather than controlling. The results exceeded every expectation. Sarah's mind adapted to quantum superposition in ways the alien observers couldn't detect, let alone understand. Her consciousness existed across multiple states simultaneously, perceiving quantum space as naturally as physical space. It's beautiful, she whispered, her voice echoing across quantum frequencies. We've been thinking about this all wrong. The ship doesn't need to be controlled. It needs to be guided through quantum space like dancing with a partner. Construction accelerated as Sarah's breakthrough revolutionized their approach. Instead of building conventional systems, they created quantum architectures that responded to human consciousness. The ship took shape across multiple possibilities, existing in several quantum states at once. The Axiorians watched in growing alarm as their sensors failed to make sense of what they were detecting. Their crystalline technology, perfect and precise, couldn't comprehend the organic chaos of human quantum engineering. Each component of the ship violated their understanding of physics in ways that should have torn reality apart. Loss was inevitable in such an ambitious project. Quantum accidents claimed lives as humanity pushed the boundaries of what was possible. Each casualty strengthened their resolve, each sacrifice driving them to prove that their fallen colleagues had not died in vain. Marcus coordinated the global teams, his own consciousness now quantum-linked to Sarah's. The Axiorians are broadcasting warnings to the entire galaxy, he reported. They're claiming we're going to cause a quantum cascade that will unravel space-time. Sarah, existing partially in quantum space, saw the truth. They're not afraid we'll destroy reality, she realized. They're afraid we'll change it. Their entire civilization is built on the assumption that quantum mechanics must be controlled and regulated. We're proving that it can be experienced, embraced. The ship grew more organic than mechanical, its quantum architecture responding to human consciousness in ways that defied conventional physics. Engineers who had once worked with steel and circuits now shaped quantum possibilities with their minds, creating systems that existed in multiple states until observed. Alien diplomatic missions became increasingly frantic as the project progressed. The Axiorians offered ever greater technological bribes, unable to comprehend why humanity would risk everything on such an uncertain path. They couldn't understand that uncertainty itself was humanity's greatest ally. Each quantum state is a possibility, Sarah explained to her team as they integrated the final systems. The Axiorians tried to collapse quantum waves into single outcomes. We're learning to surf them, to exist in the space between certainties. That's why their sensors can't track us. They're looking for definite points in space-time, but we're becoming the waves themselves. The ship's neural interface center became a quantum consciousness hub, allowing multiple pilots to share the load of existing across possibilities. What had begun as a technological project evolved into something closer to an awakening, as humanity learned to perceive reality in entirely new ways. Final integration tests are ready, Marcus announced exactly 3 months after construction began. All quantum systems are synchronized across multiple states. Neural interfaces are stable and responding to consciousness input. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Sarah stood in the ship's quantum core, her mind extended across possibilities, feeling the vessel's readiness. They had built more than a ship. They had created a bridge between human consciousness and quantum reality itself. Whether it would be their greatest achievement or their final mistake remained to be seen. The Axiorian fleet grew daily, their ships taking up attack positions around Earth's orbit. They still couldn't detect exactly what humanity had built, but they knew it was far more dangerous than a simple vessel. They were right, but not for the reasons they imagined. Begin final power-up sequence, Sarah commanded, her consciousness resonating with the ship's quantum field. Let's show the galaxy what happens when you tell humanity something is impossible. The quantum drive hummed to life across multiple realities, its energy signatures confounding alien sensors. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't just ready to launch, it was ready to redefine the very nature of space-time itself. The first sign of sabotage came during the quantum core's final diagnostic cycle. Sarah Chen, still recovering from neural interface testing, felt the disturbance before any alarms sounded, a discordant ripple in the quantum field that shouldn't have been possible. Emergency shutdown, all stations. Marcus's voice cracked across the command frequency, but it was already too late. Quantum fields collapsed across multiple construction sites simultaneously, reality warping in ways that defied physics. 342 people died in the first wave, their bodies twisted through multiple states of existence before merging with quantum space itself. It's not random, Sarah whispered, her quantum-enhanced consciousness perceiving patterns in the chaos. These failures, they're too precise, too coordinated, but the timing is wrong. The Axiorian fleet hummed motionless in orbit, their sensors recording everything but making no move to either help or hinder. Their crystalline ships reflected Earth's sunlight like silent judges watching humanity's hubris unfold. Marcus worked tirelessly at his station, trying to isolate the source of the cascading failures. The quantum signatures don't match any known sabotage pattern. It's like the ship is attacking itself. Sarah's eyes widened as reality clicked into place across multiple quantum states. Not itself, she realized. It's other selves. The sabotage is coming from future versions of our own ship. The revelation hit the command center like a physical blow. They had created a vessel capable of existing across multiple time streams, but they hadn't considered the implications. Success in one timeline created paradoxes in others, causing temporal feedback loops that threatened to tear reality apart. The Axiorians were right, someone whispered. We're going to destroy everything. But Sarah, her consciousness still linked to quantum space, saw something else. The patterns of destruction weren't random. They were forming a new kind of quantum architecture, one that existed because of the paradoxes, not despite them. We've been fighting the wrong battle, she announced, her voice carrying across quantum frequencies. We're not supposed to prevent the paradoxes. We're supposed to use them. The Axiorian fleet suddenly burst into action, their ships moving to attack positions. They had detected what Sarah had realized. Humanity wasn't just building a ship that could travel through space-time. They were creating a vessel that could manipulate the fundamentals of reality itself. All personnel, prepare for emergency quantum collapse, Sarah ordered, her mind already calculating the possibilities. We're going to trigger every paradox simultaneously. Marcus stared at her in horror. That'll tear the ship apart across every timeline. No, Sarah smiled, her consciousness extending through quantum space. It'll make the ship part of every timeline at once. The paradoxes aren't our enemy. They're the key to everything. As the Axiorian fleet opened fire, humanity did the unthinkable. They triggered a controlled quantum collapse, deliberately creating the very paradox their enemies feared. The ship existed and didn't exist simultaneously, its quantum state spreading across multiple timelines like a wave of possibility. The results defied every law of physics the galaxy had established. Instead of destroying reality, the paradoxes stabilized it. The ship became a quantum constant, a fixed point across multiple time streams that actually strengthened the fabric of space-time. We didn't just build a ship, Sarah explained as reality stabilized around them. We created a quantum focal point. Every paradox, every temporal contradiction, they all feed back into the ship's existence. We're not breaking the laws of physics. We're becoming part of them. The Axiorian fleet retreated in disarray, their sensors overloaded by quantum signatures they couldn't comprehend. They had expected humanity to destroy themselves with their reckless experiment. Instead, humanity had proven that their greatest weakness, their chaotic, unpredictable nature, was actually their greatest strength. Final diagnostic complete, Marcus reported, his voice filled with wonder. The quantum core is stable across all detected timelines. Whatever we just did, it worked. Sarah nodded, her consciousness spanning quantum possibilities that even she was only beginning to understand. They had started by trying to build a ship that could travel through space-time. They had ended up creating something that existed beyond traditional physics, a quantum paradox that strengthened reality by breaking all its rules. Prepare for emergency launch, she ordered, feeling the ship's readiness across multiple quantum states. The Axiorians won't stay confused for long, and we need to prove this works before they convince the Galactic Council to take more drastic action. The quantum ship hummed with power, its very existence a defiance of everything the galaxy thought possible. Humanity had done more than survive their brush with disaster. They had turned near catastrophe into their greatest breakthrough. Quantum core stabilized across all detected timelines, Marcus announced, his voice steady despite the chaos unfolding around them. Neural interfaces online and synchronized. We're as ready as we'll ever be. The quantum ship, dubbed Schrodinger's Dream by its crew, hung in Earth orbit like a mirage, visible from every possible angle yet impossible to focus on directly. Its quantum state fluctuated across multiple possibilities, confounding the advanced sensors of the approaching Axiorian fleet. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the neural interface chamber. Her consciousness expanded across quantum space as she prepared for humanity's greatest gamble, the hastily assembled crew. Brilliant minds pulled from Project Paradox took their positions, each connected to the ship's quantum architecture through neural links. Axiorian fleet approaching weapons range, the tactical officer reported. Their energy signatures suggest they're preparing to fire. Sarah closed her eyes, feeling the quantum possibilities unfold around them. The ship existed in multiple states simultaneously, its reality as fluid as thought itself. Traditional targeting systems would be useless against them, but only if they could master navigation through quantum space. All hands, prepare for quantum transition, she ordered. Remember your training. Don't try to control the quantum states. Dance with them. The Axiorian fleet opened fire, their crystalline weapons designed to collapse quantum uncertainties into fixed points of destruction. But Schrodinger's dream was already shifting, its existence flowing between possibilities like water through fingers. They can't lock onto us, Marcus reported, wonder in his voice. Their targeting computers are trying to calculate every possible position, but we're not in any single location. We're in all of them at once. The ship moved like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. While alien vessels relied on precise calculations and definite coordinates, the human crew navigated by intuition and possibility. They didn't fight the quantum uncertainty. They embraced it, letting their consciousness flow through quantum space like swimmers in an ocean of probability. Multiple Axiorian vessels moving to surround us, Tactical warned. They're trying to box us into a single quantum state. Sarah smiled, feeling the ship's response through her neural link. Let's show them why that won't work. All hands, quantum scatter pattern alpha. Schrodinger's dream didn't just evade the Axiorian trap. It danced through it. The ship existed across so many quantum states that attempting to force it into one reality only multiplied its possibilities. Every Axiorian tactic designed to limit quantum uncertainty instead expanded it. They're adapting, Marcus warned as the alien fleet attempted new formations. Their ships are trying to match our quantum signatures. They can't, Sarah replied, her consciousness spanning possibilities. Their technology is designed to eliminate quantum uncertainty. Ours is built on it. You can't match what you fundamentally oppose. The battle became a dance of reality itself. Axiorian vessels, each a marvel of crystalline engineering, found themselves targeting quantum echoes and probability shadows. Schrodinger's dream moved not through space, but through possibility, each quantum state opening new paths that shouldn't have existed. We're receiving transmissions from Earth, communications reported, multiple stations confirming our quantum wake is stable. We're not just moving through space-time, we're strengthening it. Sarah nodded, understanding flowing through her quantum-enhanced consciousness. The ship wasn't just avoiding the Axiorian fleet, it was proving their fundamental assumptions about reality wrong. Every movement, every quantum transition, demonstrated that uncertainty wasn't a flaw to be eliminated, but a force to be embraced. New contact. Tactical suddenly announced. Massive quantum disturbance at coordinates 7 Mark III. The crew watched in awe as space itself seemed to ripple, possibilities multiplying like fractals. Something was responding to their quantum wake, something that had waited for a species capable of seeing beyond the illusion of fixed reality. Take us in, Sarah ordered, feeling the ship's eagerness across quantum states. Whatever that is, it's what the Axiorians have been trying to prevent us from finding. Schrodinger's dream moved through quantum space with growing confidence, its human crew learning to navigate probability itself. Behind them, the Axiorian fleet fell into disarray, their rigid tactics useless against a vessel that treated quantum uncertainty as an ally rather than an enemy. We're not just proving we can build a quantum ship, Sarah realized as they approached the disturbance. We're proving that consciousness itself is quantum in nature. The Axiorians didn't try to stop us because we were wrong. They tried to stop us because we're proving a truth they've denied for millennia. The quantum disturbance grew stronger, calling to them across possibilities. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't just a ship that could traverse space-time. It was proof that consciousness itself was the key to understanding reality's deepest mysteries. The quantum anomaly pulsed before them like a tear in reality's fabric, its edges shifting through possibilities that shouldn't have existed. Schrodinger's dream hung in quantum space, its crew silent as they tried to comprehend what their sensors were telling them. It's singing, Marcus whispered, his neural interface translating quantum fluctuations into patterns his human consciousness could understand. Not with sound, but with probability itself. Sarah Chen extended her quantum-enhanced awareness toward the anomaly, feeling it respond to her consciousness like a living thing. The patterns weren't random. They were language, encoded not in matter or energy, but in quantum possibility itself. These readings, the science officer reported, they're showing traces of technological quantum manipulation, but the timestamps, they're millions of years old. The Axiorian fleet hung back, their crystalline ships forming a defensive perimeter. They weren't attacking anymore. They were waiting, watching, their sensors recording everything but making no move to interfere. They knew, Sarah realized, the truth unfolding across her quantum-linked consciousness. They knew this was here. This is what they were trying to prevent us from finding. The anomaly's quantum signature suddenly shifted, responding to their presence. Information flooded through their neural interfaces, not data, but pure quantum knowledge, encoded in a way that only consciousness could interpret. "It's a library," Marcus gasped, his mind struggling to process the quantum information. "No, more than that. It's a legacy." The truth was both simpler and more profound than anyone had imagined. The quantum anomaly wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was an archive, left behind by a civilization that had transcended traditional physics millennia ago. "They were like us," Sarah explained, reading the quantum patterns with growing understanding. "A species that discovered consciousness itself was quantum in nature, but instead of trying to control quantum mechanics like the Axiorians, they learned to become one with it." The archive contained technological specifications far beyond anything humanity had achieved, but encoded in a way that only quantum-aware consciousness could comprehend. The Axiorians, for all their advanced technology, couldn't access it because their rigid, crystalline minds couldn't process quantum uncertainty. That's why they tried to stop us, Marcus realized, not because our research was dangerous, but because we were about to discover what they'd been hiding for millennia. The archive revealed a hidden history of the galaxy. The ancient civilization, they called themselves the Quantum Ascended, hadn't died out. They had evolved, transforming themselves into beings of pure quantum consciousness. They existed across all possibilities simultaneously, their legacy waiting for another species capable of understanding quantum reality, not as a problem to be solved, but as a fundamental truth to be embraced. "Look at these quantum equations," Sarah breathed, her consciousness dancing through possibilities. "They're not just about technology. They're about evolution, consciousness, reality itself." The Axiorians had built their civilization on the principle that quantum uncertainty was a flaw to be controlled. Their perfect crystalline technology was designed to force reality into single definite states. But the archive proved their fundamental assumption wrong. Quantum uncertainty wasn't a bug in reality's code, it was the source code itself. "They're targeting the anomaly," Tactical suddenly announced. "The Axiorian fleet is charging weapons." Sarah's consciousness expanded through quantum space, feeling the archive's response. It wasn't afraid of the Axiorians' weapons. It existed across too many quantum states to be destroyed by conventional attacks. "They can't destroy it," she explained, understanding flowing through her neural interface. "The archive exists in quantum space itself. The more they try to collapse it into a single reality, the more it spreads across possibilities." The Axiorian weapons fired, their crystalline beams designed to force quantum uncertainty into fixed points of space-time. But the archive simply flowed around their attacks like water around stones, its quantum nature making it immune to their attempts at control. "We need to get this information back to Earth," Marcus urged. "The whole galaxy needs to know the truth." But Sarah, her consciousness still linked to the archive, saw something more. The quantum patterns weren't just information, they were an invitation. The Quantum Ascended hadn't just left their legacy behind. They were waiting, existing across infinite possibilities, for a species capable of joining them. "We're not going back yet," she decided, feeling Schrodinger's dream resonate with the archive's quantum frequencies. "First, we're going to show the galaxy exactly what consciousness can achieve when it stops trying to control reality and learns to dance with it instead." The ship's quantum core pulsed in harmony with the archive, human consciousness expanding through possibilities that the Axiorians had spent millennia trying to suppress. They had found more than ancient technology. They had discovered the next step in consciousness evolution itself. Earth's orbital space churned with quantum distortions as Schrodinger's dream emerged from its quantum state translation. The Axiorian fleet, now swollen to hundreds of crystalline vessels, formed an attack grid that stretched across the planet's exosphere. But Sarah Chen, her consciousness expanded through quantum possibilities, saw something they didn't: fear. "They're terrified," Marcus observed through their neural link. "Not of our ship, but of what we discovered." The quantum archive's knowledge resonated through their neural interfaces, transforming their understanding of reality itself. Humanity hadn't just built a ship that could traverse quantum space. They had stumbled upon the next stage of cosmic evolution. Broadcasting on all frequencies, Sarah commanded, her consciousness spanning multiple quantum states simultaneously. Let everyone hear the truth they'd been trying to suppress. The transmission wasn't just data, it was pure quantum information, flowing through consciousness itself. Across Earth, humans linked to the quantum network felt their minds expand as ancient knowledge merged with modern understanding. The Axiorians' crystalline technology could detect the transmission but couldn't comprehend it, like trying to understand music by reading its sound waves. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Tactical announced, "The ship it is, multiplying." Sarah smiled as Schrodinger's dream demonstrated humanity's mastery of quantum space. The vessel didn't just appear at different points around Earth's orbit. It existed at all of them simultaneously, each quantum state as real as the next. The Axiorian fleet found themselves surrounded by possibilities they couldn't eliminate. Incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. Communications reported. They're demanding an explanation. The Council's representatives appeared on quantum-enhanced displays, their various species united in confusion and fear. The Axiorian ambassador's crystalline form vibrated with barely contained fury. "You don't understand what you've done," the ambassador accused. "The quantum realms must be controlled, regulated, contained within proper parameters." "No," Sarah interrupted, her voice carrying the weight of ancient truth. "That's what you want everyone to believe. But we found what you've been hiding. We know why you're really afraid." Through their quantum network, humanity shared what they had discovered. The Axiorians hadn't banned quantum consciousness research to protect reality. They had banned it to maintain their technological dominance. Their entire civilization was built on the principle of controlling quantum uncertainty, forcing reality into single definite states. "Your own species tried this research," Sarah revealed, quantum knowledge flowing through her consciousness. "Centuries ago, before you turned to crystalline technology. You failed not because it was impossible, but because you couldn't accept uncertainty as a fundamental part of reality." The admission shocked the Council into silence. The Axiorians' crystalline forms, dimmed as their greatest secret, was exposed to the galaxy. They had failed to achieve quantum consciousness convergence because their rigid minds couldn't adapt to quantum uncertainty. "We're not destroying reality," Marcus added, his consciousness harmonizing with Sarah's across quantum states. "We're understanding it as it truly is. Consciousness itself is quantum in nature. Fighting that truth doesn't protect reality. It denies its fundamental nature." Schrodinger's dream demonstrated this truth in a way no argument could match. The ship danced through quantum possibilities, each state strengthening spacetime rather than weakening it. Human consciousness, adapted to uncertainty and chaos, achieved what the Axiorians' perfect crystalline computers could not. The quantum ascended didn't leave their legacy for species who could control quantum mechanics, Sarah explained to the stunned Council. They left it for those who could become one with it. Evolution isn't about forcing reality to fit our expectations. It's about expanding our consciousness to embrace reality as it truly is. The Galactic Council erupted into chaos as species after species demanded access to the quantum archive's knowledge. The Axiorians' monopoly on advanced physics crumbled as humanity proved there were other paths to understanding reality. "We offer teachers," Sarah announced, humanity's vindication complete, "not to show you how to control quantum mechanics, but to help you understand why you never needed to control it in the first place." The Axiorian ambassador's crystalline form shimmered with what might have been regret. "We tried for so long to perfect reality," it admitted. Perhaps that was our greatest mistake." Schrodinger's dream pulsed with quantum energy, its human crew feeling the birth of a new era through their neural interfaces. They had done more than prove their theories correct. They had shown the galaxy that consciousness itself was the key to understanding reality's deepest mysteries. Ready to begin quantum consciousness training protocols, Marcus reported, happiness flowing through the neural link. The galaxy is about to become a much more interesting place. Sarah nodded, her awareness spanning possibilities that the Axiorians had spent millennia trying to suppress. Humanity's greatest achievement wasn't building an impossible ship. It was proving that the impossible only existed in minds too rigid to embrace uncertainty. As Earth celebrated humanity's vindication, Dr. Sarah Chen and Marcus Wong stood in Schrodinger's dream's quantum core. Their consciousness expanded across possibilities that even they were only beginning to understand. The neural interface chamber hummed with energy as new quantum signatures rippled through their awareness. There, Marcus whispered, his mind touching patterns that shouldn't have existed. Do you feel it? The quantum echoes. They're not just possibilities. They're entire realities. Sarah nodded, her consciousness dancing through quantum states that defied conventional physics. The archive's knowledge had transformed their understanding, showing them that parallel universes weren't separate realities. They were quantum possibilities that all existed simultaneously. The quantum ascended didn't just evolve beyond physical form. She realized, reading patterns in quantum space that only consciousness could perceive. They became the bridge between all possible realities. Through their neural interfaces, they could feel Earth's quantum signature multiplied across infinite variations, each one as real as the next. The multiverse wasn't a theory. It was a quantum symphony that consciousness itself could conduct. Incoming transmission from the Galactic Council, the communications officer announced. They're concerned about these new quantum readings. The Council's representatives appeared on quantum-enhanced displays, their faces showing varying degrees of worry and wonder. The Axiorian ambassador's crystalline form vibrated with newfound humility. What you're detecting, it warned, these parallel quantum signatures. Attempting to bridge them could destabilize all of reality. Sarah smiled, understanding flowing through her quantum-enhanced consciousness. Reality isn't something that needs to be stabilized, she explained. It's not a fixed point to be maintained. It's an infinite dance of possibilities, all existing together. Through their neural network, humanity shared what they were discovering. The quantum signatures weren't just echoes of parallel Earths. They were invitations. The quantum ascended existed across all possible realities, their consciousness spanning the multiverse itself. They've been waiting, Marcus realized, his mind touching quantum patterns that sang with ancient knowledge, not just for a species that could build quantum technology, but for one that could understand what consciousness truly is. Schrodinger's dream's quantum core pulsed with new purpose, its human crew feeling the birth of possibilities that transcended traditional physics. They weren't just detecting parallel realities. They were learning to dance between them, their consciousness expanding beyond the limits of single quantum states. Multiple quantum signatures converging. Tactical reported, excitement overriding protocol. The parallel patterns are harmonizing. Through their neural interfaces, the crew felt it, the touch of minds that had evolved beyond physical form. The quantum ascended weren't gone. They were everywhere, existing across every possibility, waiting for others to join their cosmic dance. This is why the Axiorians couldn't access the archive, Sarah explained to the watching galaxy. You can't approach quantum consciousness through control and certainty. You have to embrace the fundamental nature of reality, infinite possibility, all existing at once. The quantum harmonics grew stronger as humanity's consciousness expanded to meet them. They could feel other Earths, other versions of themselves, all connected through the quantum nature of consciousness itself. The ship's quantum field is adapting, Marcus reported, wonder flowing through the neural link. We're not just detecting parallel realities, we're becoming the bridge between them. The Galactic Council erupted into debate as species after species recognized the implications. The multiverse wasn't just real. It was accessible to any consciousness evolved enough to comprehend quantum uncertainty as a fundamental truth rather than a problem to be solved. We stand at a threshold, Sarah announced, her awareness spanning possibilities that traditional physics couldn't explain, not just of space or time, but of consciousness itself. The quantum ascended showed us that evolution doesn't end with physical form. It continues into quantum space, into reality itself. Through their quantum network, humanity felt the birth of a new age. They had started by building a ship that could traverse space-time. They had ended up discovering that consciousness itself was the key to understanding the true nature of reality. Ready to begin first quantum consciousness evolution protocols, Marcus reported, excitement and awe mixing in his voice. The next step in human evolution starts now. Sarah nodded, feeling the quantum possibilities unfold around them. Schrodinger's dream had proved that the impossible was only a limit of perception. Now, with the guidance of the quantum ascended, humanity would learn to transcend those limits entirely. "Take us in," she commanded, her consciousness expanding to embrace infinite possibility. The next horizon isn't out there in space. It's in here, in the quantum nature of consciousness itself. The ship pulsed with quantum energy as humanity prepared to take its next evolutionary step. They had built a vessel that could traverse space-time, but they had discovered something far greater, the truth that consciousness itself was the key to understanding reality's deepest mysteries. The adventure that had begun with a quantum paradox was about to become something far more profound. Humanity's first steps toward becoming part of the quantum symphony of existence itself.